Howdy folks, Pilgrim here. Folks, for the past 10 years I have been presenting something on this channel called the Genesis Timeline. And it is a series of prophecies known by the Jewish Christians, but not being taught in the West. But they show exactly how close the footsteps of Messiah are, okay? In a way that will just blow your mind away. If you want to know more about these prophecies, you need to know this, by the way, because I can give them to you with a promise. It's not my information, it's Scripture's information. The Jewish Christians, or Israel, from Israel, whatever you want, however you want to term it, but it has been known for 2,000 years. Okay, we know the last days generation runs from 1948 to 2018. Okay, the Isaiah 23:15 says the generation of a king is 70 years, and we know who our king is, and we also know that, you know, God was speaking about Israel when he said to Abraham, "He who curses you, I will curse. He who blesses you, I will bless." We know that Abraham prefigures Israel in prophecy. So it's no coincidence that Israel was re-established as a nation for the first time in human history in 1948. And on the Hebrew calendar we find that Abraham was born in 1948. Did you know that? It should blow your mind. He was born 1,948 years after Adam. Israel was re-established 1,948 years after the second Adam, Jesus Christ. When God's fire passed between the animal parts, and God covenanted with Abraham, "To you and your descendants I will give this land of Israel forever." That event took place when Abraham was 70 years old, the generation of the king. That event took place in the year 2018. In localized prophecy, Jewish Christians know by a scriptural decree that God returns measure for measure to his enemies. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. You know, and we well know that we all well know that the nation or the institution that succeeds in dividing Israel, dividing Jerusalem, will itself be divided. And both times, for example, when Bush and Obama signed documents and pushed the agenda in a very forceful political way for the future division of Jerusalem, the new Madrid fault line here in the United States woke up, and it hasn't been silent since. We know it's overdue. The U.S. Corps of Engineers has designed a map showing what the U.S. will look like when it's split. That split runs from Michigan all the way down to the Gulf. They know that's coming. You remember what happened in Japan with one nuclear reactor? Well, imagine it times 17, because we have 17 nuclear reactors built directly, running north to south, directly above the new Madrid fault line. Okay? That's what's going to happen if we're not careful. It's interesting to me that 3.5 years on the Jewish calendar after 2018 lands us in the year 2022, the year of the 6. I'm not saying that's when that's going to happen, but it's just interesting. 3.5 years after 2018 is the year 2022 on the Jewish calendar, which is the very year that the US and other organizations have marked to be the year that Israel ceases to exist as a nation. Think about that. God says in the book of Jeremiah, he says, if you can remove the sun, moon, and stars from their place in the heavens, then perhaps you can remove Israel from its place. In other words, it ain't gonna happen. Genesis chapter 1, it says in the Hebrew, not the King James English, that he placed the sun, the moon, and the stars, the same thing just mentioned in Jeremiah, the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky as signs for festivals, meaning he had the whole of human history already planned out well in advance, how everything was going to happen and how everything is going to end. That means we can believe him when he says that he has your name written on the palms of his hands since before the world's founding. Well, when was before the world's founding? It's in Genesis 1. So this is not rocket science, you know? But the fact that they've taken this, the Knesset passes a law to hinder East Jerusalem withdrawal. This is setting the conditions under which only a peace deal can be broken. Halfway through, as prophesied in God's word, showing you just how close we are for the first time in human history, and all of this happening in 2018.